Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Gina, and I get questions. Sorry about my mess. I get questions from you in my DMs, and I'm going to answer them right now. So I'm in my DMs. And if you ever send me a question, don't worry, I'm not going to use your name. And I've already responded to you in the DM, but I like to use them on here because they can help other people. All right. So I've got a DM. It says, "Hi, Dr. Gina. Blah, blah, blah. There's my name. I'm 37 and I recently got an AMH test, and the results are 1.35. Um, I won't read every single thing in here, but this woman's in a relationship and wants to plan for a baby, but it sounds like it's a newer relationship. And she's concerned that she has such a low AMH. Do you think there's any way that she can get pregnant in the next 2 years?" Um, so here's the thing. I know, because I have a lot of my patients that come in and they ask about AMH and they get a little bit stressed about it. But here's the good news is that honestly, the AMH, it's only giving you information on the number of eggs, so your ovarian reserve. And I can relate to this. When I was 35, I was like, I wasn't in a quality relationship and I knew that. And I thought, okay, but I'm 35 and I'd worked with women with fertility at that age. And I thought, well, I should be doing something. And then I had gotten into a relationship. Anyway, so it's awesome that she's thinking about this. And I'm wondering how many other women out there are like, oh, I'm between 35 and 40 or older and thinking, I'm still not ready to have a baby. In fact, when I went in, my doctor was like, well, you better get on it. What are you waiting for? And I'm like, you don't just have a baby because you're running out of time. We're not running out of time. So this is what I recommended. You absolutely can still get pregnant, even if your AMH is, I see that a lot, like 1.3 or something like that. So you only need one good egg to get pregnant. That's the good news. You don't need to have like hundreds or 50 eggs or, like you need the one good one to show up. But one of the ways that you can do that is by focusing on egg quality now. So, what I recommend is that you treat yourself like you're pregnant right now. And even if she's saying, like, I probably don't want to get pregnant for at least another 2 years, I still would recommend that you can start even taking prenatals now, but definitely look at the fertility diet as something excellent. Um, Sorry, I just got a message. Okay. um, you focus on it now. And especially with the fertility diet, it's incredible food. It's good for your health. It's going to serve you and help you keep longevity anyway. So you want to focus on a fertility diet. And I have tons of videos on my channel for that. And I'm happy to put links in the bottom. Another thing that I'm going to do is I did a podcast, and I'm going to find the link. I did a podcast last year on this exact topic. Like, what if I'm not ready, but my doctor's like, you better start getting pregnant or trying to get pregnant now. And you're like, I'm not ready. Either your relationship's not ready, your work isn't where it needs to be. Um, it is important. And a lot of women, I think we don't plan it until we're like, oh my gosh, we're in the relationship and I want to do it now. I want to get pregnant now. And you obviously, like, there's things that you can do right now. But I would say if you can plan ahead, good for you. Because guess what? If you're working on prepping your body, prepping your room, nourishing your room, focusing on foods, you can even look at, I got a whole list of things here that I'm messaging with this person who DM'd me. But you can look at CoQ10 is really helpful for egg quality, and inositol, vitamin D, folic acid, and like I had mentioned, starting prenatals. But you don't want to take everything. So it is important to work with somebody so they can talk to you and do a history and understand where you're coming from, what kind of health conditions maybe you've gone through or that you currently have, to match things up and make sure that you're not overloading. Because if your body gets too many supplements and vitamins and herbs and you're like, I'm taking everything, it won't know what to do. And honestly, you can blow out your digestion. and you don't want to do that. So I would say the number one thing that I would do is look at a prenatal and then start with the fertility diet. And there's so much that you can do, but that is like the basis. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad that she messaged me that. And I'm actually going to send her my egg quality ebook. So there's so much in there. But if you are watching this, whether you're live or it's recorded, like drop a comment or message me and say, hey, I want the egg quality book, which is easy for me to send over to you. So, okay, that was the first question I got, and it's such a huge topic, and I'm just glad that women are planning these things ahead. The next question I get a lot is from women is how to improve sperm health. Okay, so what I'm going to say, I just did a whole video on this. Now, it's okay. It's funny to me because a lot of people in general, I'm not going to say just men, but a lot of people in general, like, oh, it's the woman. She can't drink. She can't do this. She's got to focus and get enough sleep and eat. But guess what? You're like part of the equation. So whether you're watching and you'd like your partner or your husband or your spouse to get on board, I'm going to give you the 5 things that maybe they haven't thought about that's a big deal, but it totally is. So some of it can seem a little bit obvious, like stop smoking. I think men think, oh, whatever, it's not my eggs, but it's your sperm. So smoking tobacco and weed, right? That can reduce sperm count. And it's like, it's the mobility, the motility. So the ability for the sperm to swim, and they only have so much time. So if they're slow swimmers, they're not going to make it. And then also the morphology, which is the shape of the sperm. Smoking can have a bad influence on that. It can damage DNA within the sperm, and there's other issues that it could cause. And number 2 would be consuming alcohol. Now, honestly, I'm not going to say, boom, quit everything. But you can't go boozing, especially if your partner, she's not boozing, she's taking care of herself. So I think it's a good idea. And there's so many mocktails and fun drinks now that you can have that don't have any alcohol in them. But if you have too much alcohol, it can reduce testosterone levels and lower sperm count. And it can cause abnormal sperm morphology, which is the shape. And hormone disruption. I mean, it just depends on the quality of the alcohol and how much you're consuming. And here's a big one that's a shocker for a lot of my patients is don't use hot tubs and saunas. And this is big. And I even see some people, and I haven't looked at the research yet, but to say, like, don't even have a laptop on your pelvic area because you can get the heat. And I also think like radiation and other things, right? We still don't know all the side effects of all of our digital stuff around us all the time. So I would never even have like your cell phone in your pocket. But let's look at hot tubs and saunas. So what this does is it elevates testicular temperature, and it kind of stays up there, and it impairs sperm production and function. And sperm are sensitive to temperature. So this is a big one. And this is, I would say, even a lot of Western doctors recommend this too. And then I know it's easy. Sorry, Jimmy John's, not sorry, really, but stop eating processed meats and fast foods. So anybody who's eating diets rich in processed foods, this can have a really bad impact on fertility health. They have additives, preservatives, super high contents of salt and sodium, sugar. So you can have metabolic issues, and also it causes obesity, which is not good for fertility health. Obesity has been linked to lower sperm count and poor sperm quality. So you want to get into fertility fitness, ideally, not right when you're trying to get pregnant, but ahead. Like I said, the last woman who contacted me, it's like she's thinking about this and she's saying, hey, I may not be ready 2 years in advance. This is a good idea for men and women. And again, it's longevity. You want to live a healthy, enjoyable life. You don't want to deal with what can come your way with not living a nice, functional, healthy life, meaning diet and alcohol and smoking. All these things put them into perspective, because I think when we're younger, we're like, oh, I could do anything. And it's actually not true. And for some people, you get bad results right away, but some people, you have health issues that start showing up in late 30s, early 40s, and definitely just goes and it spirals as you get into your 50s. So you've got to stay fit. And the last thing, number 5, for what not to do is over exercise. And I'm going to throw in don't take testosterone because I know some guys still do that. Um, but excessive physical activity can have an opposite effect of like getting you super fit. It can also lead to fatigue, oxidative stress, and then inflammation can build up that will hurt sperm cells. So you just want to be mild about exercise. Definitely, I tell people to get exercise at least 30 minutes a day, 5 to 7 days a week at a minimum, but everything doesn't have to be like so hardcore. Do you know what I mean? Like several hours. But even if you do that once in a while, that's fine. I'm talking about the people that are overtraining and getting injuries and have constant inflammation in their body, because rigorous exercise can lead to reduced levels of testosterone, which you need for sperm production. So there's so much more that you can do, but those are the questions that I had time for today. And thank you so much for figuratively fierce for showing up. And anybody who's watching this on the record, you can throw questions down here, or like I said, DM me, and I am so happy to send you as much info to help you plan for pregnancy, get healthy for pregnancy for you and your spouse or your partner. Have an awesome day.